around the corner. Are you here? What did I say? I think so. What's that?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cryptic Heartland podcast, episode number 148. I am one of the hosts, Leo Fernandez. And then, of course, we got across the way, who are you?
I'm Andy.
And the man in the black, who are you?
Roth.
Got some.
It's good to have you back on here, right?
Yeah, this is like, I've made it like every other one now. So.
Yes.
Every
Good to
other one.
go.
You're the man, the myth, and the legend.
And the legend.
You scare our viewers because I don't know who you are. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Well, let's see here. Make some adjustments on the fly. There we go. Get Andy in
They
frame.
don't
There we
need
go.
to see me.
All right. Hey guys at home, viewers at home, what's up? All right, we're just gonna do a kind of fly by the seat of our pants here. So I don't know where
We're used to
I'm
that,
so good at that.
whatever goes, I guess.
That's right. It's like being in Vegas.
right?
Yes, sir.
And what happens here may not stay here.
Exactly. All right, let me see real quick here. 1 second. I just gotta get. Oops. I'm clicking on
And our
things.
creepy dolls.
Yeah, we got them in the middle there. All right.
So how's things been going for y'all?
Things have been going good for me.
Just
Other
going.
than I heard the goat's back. God, wish that guy would just retire.
Talking about Brady.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that news.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah,
Unfortunately.
back again.
Oh,
Shady's back.
I knew it wouldn't last long.
Not
Yeah.
long enough,
I don't
anyways.
quite understand that. I mean, you're going to retire,
Right?
you know.
You just maybe really want out of Florida that bad, but as long as you don't join the Chiefs, we're good.
That's right.
I'm good with my homies.
But at least now Mahomes has got one more opportunity to slap him around a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So,
That's true.
so how's everything in the paranormal world going?
Good. I'm ready for some more investigations.
I am. I almost called you
You
night
should have.
before last and was ready to go to the shop, and I thought it's a little late. So
I've got
I'm
like 2 people
wanting to go out there.
wanting to go out there. Stacy and one of my friends that would love if
Love for
Possible.
it to go. Yeah, we need to do that soon.
we're all out of town next weekend. Fortunately,
What are we
will be in
doing?
Hayes. I don't know.
It's kind of a
Yeah.
Yeah, the group will be out next week, so we probably won't be doing a show next Sunday because you guys will still be trying to travel back into town. They're doing an investigation. I know Jason was talking about maybe going live if possible down there a couple
Yeah.
times, so just stay tuned for that. They're going to maybe do a live investigation. I know, Andy, you're not going to be there, and I won't be
Now
there.
I got to
Yep.
be in Hayes for a basketball tournament.
Correct.
But I know Jake and Jason both said talked about doing some live stuff, so
Yeah.
watch.
We're gonna try real
Yeah.
hard. It just depends on how the internet is doing
Yeah.
and
So keep an eye on Road Trip Paranormal Facebook page.
Yep.
I'm sure they'll go live on that at wherever they go
Yeah.
that night.
Yep.
So,
I am so pumped.
I know. I hate that
I'm so
missing it.
excited.
But Leo and I had a good feeling that we'll be invited back. So
Hopefully.
hopefully
Are you? If we go live, are you going to try to run that with us?
I won't be available.
You won't? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be rocking out.
Yep. So.
Oh yeah.
We keep talking.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's not, it's not a big opportunity. I wished I could say more, and I can't right now.
Yeah.
But it's not an opportunity that you get to have this kind of stuff just fall in
Yeah.
your lap
Yeah, that's why
like it is.
we're kind of hoping that we'll get more opportunity, but we're excited. I can't wait to hear all about it. Like,
I think this one could. I think this one's gonna help us out a lot.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, we've been doing this a long time. Leo, Jason, especially, and it's there's always tons of places you can go, but this one's gonna be.
yeah,
Just wait.
off the charts.
Yeah,
Like
our viewers will have to
anybody-
wait a couple weeks. So,
Right. And get through all the evidence. And
yep.
I don't know how many of your viewers know this, but like, if you know locations that, don't be afraid to let us know of locations. If you're having issues within your home, we do come out and help homeowners. So don't be afraid to reach out to Cryptic Heartland, Road Trip Paranormal, or Everyday Legacy Paranormal. And we do have some stuff possibly coming up. Public investigation wise that we'll put out as soon as we can. So we're looking to get more
Right.
out there now that things are starting to open up more and the COVID numbers are dropping. So once
Yeah, I think we're gonna start getting really busy again.
yeah, I look forward to
You know.
that. October was pretty busy for Jason and I doing the walking tours, and so we had like one or two investigations since then. So I'm excited to get out and do some more. I'm gonna get to go to a place in China that we've gotten to investigate.
Where?
Um,
Did you say?
down in Delano.
Oh, Delano. Okay.
Yeah. For work some nights it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be a work event, not paranormal event, but be excited to see what could happen that night.
I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited. I love, I love doing a lot of the events.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I've been, and hope I don't offend anybody on the team or anybody I really want to get back in to investigating these homes, where you get to check the history out on the locations, find out what's going on, and really dig deep into what
Yes.
is happening. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the public investigations, but after you've done them several dozen times,
Yeah, it's a different atmosphere doing the home investigations.
yeah, it is, especially when you actually end up helping somebody,
Yeah.
and because there's so much more to it than just things that go bump in the night,
Right.
and you start finding a lot more stuff out. And over the years that I've been doing this, when we go back and hear the EVP sessions and stuff like that, it opens up another can of worms because the owners go, oh my goodness, and they recognize a name or they recognize why this is happening, and then it just, you take it from there, and I miss that.
Yes.
I do.
Get to know the homeowners. It's a total different atmosphere doing the home versus public. Public is fun. We all get to experience stuff together, but the home investigation just a more quaint feel. And I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but yet to be able to help somebody is just
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
experience. And
Yeah. I mean, I remember Leo. Where were we? In Delano? I think we were in Delano.
Yeah.
We had that one, and I had walked in. I can't remember if it was you was with me or Jason. We walked into this house. The lady, Actually, it was that room that it's the house that we did in the basement where we
Yeah.
actually brought a Ouija board in.
Yeah, it was just you and myself, and then a former investigator.
Was that it?
Yeah,
and
nobody else
I
went.
remember we walked into that bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my hat on, and within a minute of the lady saying, you know, this is a certain area of the house, and then bang, my hat almost got knocked off. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I miss that stuff. I do. I miss that stuff. And I know the private, you know, the public investigations are fun.
Right.
And it gives all of the people that follow us and the people that don't get an opportunity to go witness this stuff. But man, doing those, walking into a place that you don't know what's going on, and then your hat almost get knocked off. That's fun. You know,
Yeah.
to me it is, anyways. You know, because then it starts right then. Okay, is he being funny? Is she being fun? Whatever. You know. It's, you know, it starts right there.
It kind of reminds me of the one location that hat came flying onto Jake.
Yeah.
You and Jake were in that
Yeah,
one.
in the middle of that room. And that was like 3-4 foot away in the corner of the room. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was with the homeowner by the pool table, and we heard y'all and just like immediately ran down the hall. That was pretty neat.
He was actually, Jake was actually, if I remember correctly, he was doing the Jake box. Session?
Yeah, I think it was just you two doing the Jake box, and then later we were all in
It's a
there.
Frank's box.
The Frank box. Jay, I always call it the
I
Jake
know,
box.
it's called,
You know me.
It's called Jake Frank.
Yeah.
And
if it's called the left box, I'm going to call it the center box.
it's been called a couple different
Yeah.
names. I know it's called the Estes. Some places people call it the Estes method because it was kind of started out in Estes Park in Colorado at the Shining place. The goddamn, I'm drawing a blank now. What's the hotel out there?
Stanley.
The Shining.
Stanley,
the
yeah,
Stanley.
Stanley Hotel, where Stephen King got the idea for The Shining. Excuse me. That's why I was thinking Shining, but that's kind of where that whole put the headphones on with this SB7 originated from, and then people have kind of evolved into their own. I know a lot of people call it Frank's box. That's kind of what we refer to it as.
Yep.
And it's had some interesting results over the years. Just because most of the time we always try to blindfold ourselves or something or other, and then you put noise canceling headphones on, and people in the room or next to the room, whatever, will ask questions that you as the listener can't hear, and you answer questions at random, or you answer with whatever you hear, basically. Which we kind of used to do that also too with the Gansfield experiment, which some of you guys got to try that out we did our 50th or 100th episode,
Yes.
which was kind of
Oh, yeah,
interesting.
that's
That
right.
was like the first time that I had tried it myself,
Mhm.
and I don't know that I gave it enough time, but I'm ready to try it again because we had a good, almost hour-long Frank's Box session a couple weeks ago in Wamego, and we had
You
a
did?
lot happen. Yeah, so I'm ready to try it again.
Here's a good question for you, Leo.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we did that experiment, I remember there was a big hype up to that
For which part? Which experiment?
for
Sorry.
the whole experiment, the Gainesville.
Oh, okay.
And I remember when I did it, you were with me upstairs.
Yes,
And
and you went for like at least 45 minutes.
yeah, and I'm just sitting here going, what's the big deal about this? I'm not, but I think it falls into that. I think it falls into like I don't feel and hear. I'm not trained enough to realize if something is going on. When there's with people that have a lot more experience and can feel things.
Yeah.
I sit there for 45 minutes, and I did hear a few things.
You did, and I think you got touched
Yep.
at least once or twice.
Yep, I
remember
did.
that.
I did.
I think I'm like you, where the more that we'll do it, the better we get with the senses, like the hearing, the
Yeah.
touch, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I know when I've watched other people do it, it's more intense
Yeah.
with them. Where me, I'm just going, come on, and I think that has a lot to do with not being able to. I'm not as good at that particular stuff as far as inviting something in to communicate
Yeah.
with me.
I guess it depends on how open you are. Like, I've found myself being a little more open, but I guess I don't want to open myself up too much because I don't want to be I don't need an exorcism.
We'd
But-
let you at least hang out for a week, and then we'd go help her, wouldn't we, Leo?
No comment. I'm
I'm
just
glad
kidding.
y'all have holy water. I'll say that.
On the screen for viewers at home behind between Andy and Roth, that's the Gansville experiment where you put, most of the time you use some kind of red light, and we use ping pong balls and put them over our eyes so you can still see transparency, but you can't see things. I mean, you can't see the people in the room, and we of course tape them down, and then you use noise canceling headphones, and then we usually have white noise going on in the background, and you just listen to whatever's coming through. And most of the time when I did it, the few times I've done it, I did it about how many times at this point, but I could see shadows and stuff like that. I couldn't hear you guys in the room ever when I was doing it.
Yeah.
Especially we did it at the house we did, the road talking about earlier in Delano was called the Osage house.
That's right.
And we would go down there and we did it in the basement, and I kept having weird experiences with it where I kept on. This is my most successful experience with it to me, where we actually did it live on Facebook. If you ever look at the Everyday Legacy Paranormal Facebook page, we went live that night on that page, I believe, or Cryptic Heartland, one of the two, and we were filming this whole thing. But as I was listening to this stuff, this is when I kept feeling like something was like kind of slithering around my leg, whatever, like a snake. And we were in this dungeon basement, whatever. We had to kind of crawl through the floorboards to get to that basement, and so I mean, could have been a snake, maybe, but I don't. You guys would have probably saw it.
Yeah, we would have seen it.
I would have heard commotion.
I would
I'm
have
sure.
been
Roth
jumping
was in the
over
room,
him and
yeah.
out of there.
You were in the room
so-
with me at the time. I remember that,
Yeah.
and a couple other people were. But then I kept hearing a female voice, and all this stuff, and I just remember the whole time kept getting like sensation of a demon kind of a thing. I'm like, this can't be a demon. It's mostly your mind wandering to me, I thought. So, and then I remembered this was the second time we had been there, in about 2 weeks. And 2 weeks before that, through the SP7 spirit box, the thing said it was a demon, and I was like, sure you
Always
are.
heard that
Sure
quite
you
a
are.
bit.
But well, then that's when you guys broke out the after my rotation, whatever, you guys broke out the Ouija board down there. You and the other investigator at the time, you guys were going through, just a series of questions, and then all of a sudden you guys started spelling out a name, and you guys said it out loud, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" And
I
you guys
remember
both
that.
were dumbfounded. What's his name? And I was like, that sounds a little too familiar to me. So I looked up on my phone while you guys were doing that, and it was a demon name that they spelled out that they wouldn't have known. I mean, because it's a rare random name.
Oh, really?
It's not your usual demon names you think of demons. But I looked up the origin behind it, and it said that this demon takes the form of a female and has serpentine-like things going on, like features, I guess we'll call it. So going back to what I said previous to that, when I was doing the Gansville experiment, I was, hearing a female talk in my ear continuously, and then I kept feeling that snake-like around my ankles, whatever. So now, was this a demon that happens to be the ones you guys happen to spell out? I don't know. I mean, none of us got truly affected by it, but the
But
place
it's
was
interesting that you had the slithering.
right. Because if you go back to the video, this is before you guys got the Ouija board out, you'll hear me say, "Oh man, I feel like there's a snake by my ankle, whatever." Like something's kind of slithering around, and moments later, maybe like 30 to 40 minutes later, they did the Ouija board and spelled out that demon name that happens to be a female. And like I said, after I looked at that, I'm just like, holy crap. What, I mean, was I scared in the moment? No, I was just like surprised. It's just fright. I mean, it's just interesting to see. Maybe we did hit on something that could have been a demon, but
And if I recall, didn't you make a stop? And
that was a different place.
was that a different one?
Yeah, that was the Patty House,
Oh yeah. Okay.
which we used to play that video all the time with the. We were asking serious. Once again, we were live on Facebook, and we were asking questions at the Patty House, and we had the portal from one of the phones going, and that's when the thing we kept asking, "Are you a demon?" And it said, because it kept asking, like we heard a weird growly kind of voice through this phone app, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" We all heard it in the room, so we asked, "Are you a demon?" And it goes, kind of gave another response, and all of a sudden the phone screen flipped and it started typing. And that's when it goes, maybe, maybe not. And we're just like, what the fuck is? you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, holy shit, you know. Once again, did we encounter another demon?
With Jeremiah with you all?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It was Cody with Jeremiah, Cody, Jason, myself, Roth, and the homeowner wasn't down with it. That was kind of interesting. They let us have free reign of the place. He was outside in the garage.
Yeah, he didn't want to have anything to do with
Yeah,
it.
because he had enough experiences with this thing that I don't know.
I mean, that place, if you could have gone, that place was just crazy. I mean, we had a broom one time that flew past us.
Yeah, that's the same place.
Yeah,
Right.
You could see the way that the basement was set up is each room. The basement wasn't finished, so it was just
the curtains or the
they had sheets of plastic.
Yeah.
And you could see in another area it go poof, like it was running from us.
Yeah. Like I chased.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is why
Okay.
this is why I really miss. Oh, did you just?
The beeping noise is the EDI machine going off in front of the dolls. I'm gonna put it back on because it's funny that here we are talking about demons and things, and you know some of our famous cases that we've done, and then we start getting a reaction. Normally the podcast starts messing up. 2 weeks ago we had the voice in the room with us.
Yeah.
That was in my ear. I went back and listened to the podcast. By the way, you can hear.
Oh, really?
A whisper as I react. So
yeah, because Jason, I didn't remember looking at you, and then you were like,
"Cause I like what the hell's next to me?" Yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on the EDI machine next to the dolls because that beeping noise you're hearing, if you guys hear it up on the camera, that's the machine, and nobody's by it. I mean, it's in between us, you know, on a table in front of us. But like I said, it's interesting when we start talking about cases, how things in the room start to pick up, the atmosphere changes and whatnot, and it's like it knows. It always knows. So just so you know, viewers at home. But no, yeah, that house the patio house was interesting because I remember we had quote unquote a medium with us, and she was talking about her depiction of what she called demons was always like this is the image I always get. She always called them like a dog or gremlin, and I always think of like on Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, when they turn into dogs or the demons, or whatever, you know, Zool and all that stuff, you know. That's what the image I always got. Well, that night I kept seeing this small black. It looked like a small dog, and it kept chasing around from room to room. Because in the basement, this is the patio house, excuse me, with the broom and then the demon that turned the typing, whatever.
Yeah.
The basement was kind of, you could walk around the whole basement like in a circle, and in between there was a big wall that divided, and there was doorway here, and then the stairs to go up. So you could chase this thing around and around. So I kept following it around, and it would never sit still. So I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking, is it truly a demon? Why would it be running from me? Shouldn't it be attacking me? Or, you know, I should be running from it in essence, you know? But
that would be the logical thing you would think of.
But she always claimed it was like the psychic kept saying it was like I can't remember what she called it, a dog or something, like a small creature, and that's exactly what I kept chasing. So I don't know.
Well, and what's interesting is before we started this, she told us that we were nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And to stay away. Yeah, she said, she goes, you guys should not be doing this. You don't know what you're messing with.
This was like one of the
And we're trying to tell, no, this was the medium.
Oh, okay.
And we're trying to tell her, well, this is what we do, you know, because one of those interesting things is if you're a medium, supposedly,
right,
you can walk into a house, and it's not fair because they go, well, there's a guy over here, there's a girl over here, there's a crazy dog over here. You're good to go. Stay away. Well, it takes all the fun out of it. It's kind of like, I want to see this movie, and then you just told me what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, we have to go in and be able to get, you know, evidence to be able to show the homeowner what's going on. So at that point, it just becomes hearsay. And so, but yeah, I remember her specifically turning around, and she was not happy and left.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't believe in.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's the one thing, and I don't want to dog on her because
I don't. Not at all. We're just saying this is what we were dealing with, and then as we moved on through the night, Leo figured out what we were actually, and she was right.
I have a hard time. Not that I don't believe in mediums or psychics and all this stuff, because I mean, our good friend Lena is pretty awesome, you know, and she does that for a living. By the way, hopefully Lena recovers well. She had a little bit of a incident. She was supposed to be at the Kansas City medical physical fair this weekend, and she couldn't make it because she ended up in the ER again. So hopefully, well wishes
Love
to her.
Helena.
Yep. So, but anyway, so I trust her, and there's a couple other ones I've worked with over the years I've trusted. But the only problem I had with this one in particular is she would say that she's never seen a human type spirit. She'd always say, I only saw like these creatures. I'm like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've seen enough over the years now. Maybe my eyes and your guys' eyes too, as investigators, maybe our depiction is different than what you see as maybe as a quote unquote medium. And this is not Lena I'm talking about. This is somebody else. I didn't know what to make of it, so I whatever thing she said, I kind of took with a grain of salt. I'm just like, well, I've seen enough. I've been doing this a lot longer than before I even met her, and I
honestly
did
feel
with
like
it.
you have a gift, to be honest, because you can hear a lot. You and Renee, too, can both hear and sense a lot more than some of us can. I mean, I found myself being a little more open and seeing more and feeling more, hearing more.
Yeah.
But, like, your gift is high.
Yeah.
Very high.
And going with
He's the goat.
I'm not going to Tampa Bay. I'm just kidding.
Wrong team. Not the Raiders.
To go to like what Rose said, she warned us not to go there. Well, that's exactly why. Like Rose said, we're there to help the clients or figure out what's going on. Of course, I'm going to go there. It's more reason for me to want to go there. If you say something's not shouldn't be there, I'm going to be there. So it's just like we've done this long enough. I think we can. Now, are we fully protected every time? Absolutely not. I mean, we don't know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with stuff in the dark we can't see sometimes, or hear or whatever. So, I mean, we put ourselves at risk. But
Yeah, but I will put take my hat off to Leo because, as a paranormal investigator, you've been doing this, especially like Jason and Leo and Jeremiah for years. And I don't know if they feel the same way I do, but you kind of look for something like this. And so for when somebody goes, y'all need to leave, this is not good, we're not going to leave. I mean, this is what we're looking for,
Do it even more.
But, right. But what I thought was really interesting is, these days, a phone, you have to turn it on. You have to go to text messages. And then you have to pick a name, and then when you pick the name, down at the bottom it says message, and then you have to, there's a lot of stuff to get to that point.
Yeah.
And when all of a sudden that happened,
It's manipulated.
it took over the phone. What I found really interesting was Leo and Jeremiah both said, look, because when we saw that, we all looked at each other. My son at the time, I think was 14? Maybe
like he was
12, 14?
Very young. Yeah.
Very young. And we're sitting in the basement around what's going on, and we're live. And they both sat there and said, look, guys, what happened, it's very uncommon, and I don't feel comfortable being, having a certain few people down here with us. So we're going to go off the air, and we'll be back on.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, wow, this is getting deep, right? Well, the minute we went off the air, Leo looked at my son and me and said, are you guys okay? What do you want to do?
Right.
I remember that, and that meant a lot to me because at that point in time, this was not safe.
Yeah.
And, of course, my son and I are going, yeah, let's do this. And then that's when Leo looked at Jeremiah and said, let's go upstairs, take a break,
Right.
and we'll regroup. And so there was some things Leo had us do before we actually left. We didn't just walk out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
But, 10 minutes went by and they called it. And I was kind of disappointed, because I'm like, man, isn't this what we're supposed to do? We're waiting to get drugged down a hall and the door shut, And here they called it. But it just goes to show you that our team and Leo and the people that we have are there for our safety and everything else. And, and after looking back on that could have been a bad thing.
Yeah.
Well, and part of the reason, too, is because, yes, even after we leave, the homeowners still have to exist in that environment. So if we're angering something that's potentially dangerous, pushing, like we used to say, poke that bear, we get to go home at night potentially and be fine, and these people have to, live in this house, and if we upset something that shouldn't have, we need to be careful. So that's why I kind of wanted to. We let the owner know what was happening. I mean, I think he might have even been watching on Facebook at the time and stuff.
Yeah.
So
He was out by the fire pit.
is that where he was? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like maybe he stayed outside in the garage that night to see if anything different would happen for y'all versus what happens for him and his family?
You guys hung out with him for the first half of the investigation because you let Jeremiah, myself, and the psychic go in there. Did he say much? I mean, was he just relating stories?
I was.
Or?
He kept when we first started visiting with this guy, you could tell he'd been through a lot.
Yeah.
Been to prison.
Yep.
He was part of the Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
The drugs, the everything. I mean,
Yeah.
and I won't continue to go on about a lot of that, but there's a lot of stuff that happened. When he moved back home, he just started saying the same thing that the medium was saying. There's something dark in here. It's affecting me. It's affecting, people that are in this house, and I need help.
Yeah.
And that's what he kept saying. And I remember the first couple times I actually went over there with Jeremiah, and we had some stuff happen in the closet, and that was really. Well, you remember in the closet behind that
sexy music
behind
right now.
behind that wall that had
right. With the cutout, right?
The cutout,
that's where I thought everything stemmed from.
Yes,
like everything came from the earth.
Yeah, and
that hole.
Jeremiah, I was still kind of new,
and
Jeremiah walked me in. He said, "Come on in," and he shut the door and he turned some equipment on, and within seconds, the stuff that was coming out, of the what is it, the F7, the
SB7,
the S, yeah,
it
was not good.
Right.
It was kill you. You're dead.
Yeah.
It was. I'm like, what? Like, come on. And Jeremiah went, knock it off, right now.
And he was who you needed there.
Yeah. And and it still came at us.
Really?
Yeah. There was no get out. There was none of that. It was bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so then we went and talked to the homeowner, and he's like, I told you, there's something deep here. But he was kind of off his rocker too, so I don't know if he was doing stuff that we didn't know about.
I don't know. Yeah.
He never said.
Because we could never, after the investigation, we tried, he had everything ready to give to him for evidence, and then he
went back.
Went back.
He went back.
Yeah.
And then he got back out.
Yeah.
Reached out, and I don't think we ever really.
I think we tried multiple times. We could never get it lined up.
Okay.
And I don't know where he's at today, but it's been a couple of those where, and that always it makes me wonder. We always talk about the case up in Oberlin where we went to, where Jason, Renee, and I went to the house while you stayed at the
museum.
The museum with Michelle, and Max. Those people that was another case. We went in. They were having weird stuff going on. Their daughter was being affected. We tried reaching back out to them, and they just fell off the face of the earth. Like, they quit talking to us, and it just had a weird feel. So I don't know how much of it is, if it's the thing in the house is controlling the situation, where it's thwarting. Hey, these guys know who we are, know what I am. Possibly they capture me, and whether it be through a video or audio. And next thing I know, they won't. This thing won't let us in. It always finds a way to keep us out, and that's been a couple of cases like that where we've contacted, and the owners just won't talk to us anymore. It's just like, you asked for our help, what's going on?
That kind of reminds me of my first home investigation that Dan and I went on.
Yeah, after a little bit, they go south. And that is weird because it doesn't make sense. Just like the one that was across from Town East that we went to.
Oh yeah, I didn't go to that one.
But
I know the owner.
The one with all the video game or the games. Did you ever go in there?
I never got to go because he just wanted to talk to you guys.
Yep. Hello.
That's so awesome.
Want a Twizzler? Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah. Not to get to go. I knew the guy, whatever, but I didn't get a chance to go.
Did you know the guy?
I knew him because I used to work at the mall, and he worked there too.
Okay.
And I knew him,
so
it's funny that Jason knew him otherwise.
That whole investigation led on to many different things of hauntings and different types of stuff, like the little girls with the eyes. Do you remember the two?
Yes. Talking about
that showed up on. That showed up, and then the black car with the two men.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing was multiple. There was the
Right.
possible stick man,
Yeah, Hat Man, or
Hat Man,
Yeah, Hat Man.
that showed up.
right. Oh, it's like Hat Man, which is kind of like Slender. Well, not
Yeah,
Hat
and
Man, but
when
mostly Hat Man.
it was, yeah, because when, and luckily it was one of the podcasts that we did where we did an episode on that particular person. And I remember Jason's face because, you know, when you first go into a home, you're asking questions.
Trying to get to know.
Yeah, and she's telling us what's going on. And the minute she describes the Hat Man to a T. And I remember looking up at Jason going, and he's like,
Well, that's because we just had got the Oberlin case that was like the Hat Man also too, and that's why
Yeah.
we thought Jason. It was still fresh in Jason's mind because after we left that place, Renee and Jason both. The further away we got from the city of Oberlin, it's like they went into like a, I don't want to say a trance, but
Jason did.
like a possible possession.
Yeah.
It was weird, and the further we got, the stranger he got. I mean, like, and he would,
Really?
because by the time we got to Rose's house to meet, you know, drop everybody off and kind of whatever, say
Disperse.
final goodbyes. I remember one of the investigators came up to the car, he knocked on the window, and said, "Bye, Jason." And Jason just kind of gave him a weird little glance and then looked back. And it was
Well,
just
you and I were
chaotic.
by my door,
Yeah,
and you were helping me carry
Yeah, all the
some
stuff.
stuff. And I went, "Man, is Jason okay?"
yeah.
And you go, "Hey, he didn't talk much."
No, for
You know,
the way
and I
he
was
kept
like-
quiet. I'm like,
I go, "But we've been doing this a long time, and Jason is always, no matter how tired he is, no matter how sick he is, that guy will get out of the car
yeah,
and say thank you and grab your gear and help you walk
Yeah.
and give you a hug before he leaves."
Yeah.
right.
And I remember looking at the end of the driveway, and he was like this in the car with his sunglasses,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he would not move.
and I went,
Yes.
waved to him, like, "Where's Jay? See you, Jace?"
And not knowing Renee was having, because Renee had to drive back to Dodge City from there by herself, and she drove back the next day, I believe, and not knowing she had to pull over because she couldn't see. She said she kept driving and like her eyes were something was going on with her eyes, like she couldn't see it with her own eyes anymore. Enough that she went home, and usually she talks to her, you know, her husband and the girls and everybody and her kids. She said that she went straight home and just went straight to bed because she couldn't, like, anything they did or talked to her, they irritated her. Like she said, I don't even want to deal with you people, you know, kind of a thing. And that's not like Renee. Renee's
Yeah,
very
Renee.
friendly, just like Jason. They're both very outgoing and they,
Yeah.
you know, very caring people. And for them to act the way they behaved, yeah. It took Jason weeks. We ended up having to go to his house, and
Yes,
Jeremiah and I
that where
did.
Jeremiah had to go help.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was crazy because it was just Jeremiah, myself, and Jason and Nicole at the time. You know, his ex-wife, or I say ex-wife, his wife, because she's now deceased. We did a kind of like a bindings, we'll call it, and I was filming everything while Jeremiah did everything, and as things were happening, you could see weird things on the camera, like
Yeah.
these things were shooting out of, I can't explain it. It looked like mist, and I could follow it out of the room, out of like areas, and we were chasing this thing down out of his house. And but after we got it all through and said and done, Jason just
It was
felt
like he was reverted back to himself.
yeah.
after
Well, he
that.
felt at peace because I'm exhausted, man. So we kind of did like a mini exorcism in a way. I mean, we'll call it what it is. And after we got that out, things changed for him. You know,
Yeah.
got better because he was in a real bad place.
Yeah, because I think work even got a hold of somebody
Yeah.
going, "This ain't like, you know."
Yeah, because I know something had happened with work
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah, he got really
That
dark.
was like one of the stories that I heard when I first started investigating with the team, like 10, 12 years ago, however long it was before I
Yep.
officially joined the team.
Right.
And then the home that y'all were just discussing about the basement and
Yeah.
demons. And so those are the two that stand out to me the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've heard about them.
Well, and you
every
know-
time it's like hearing something new.
And going back to, Leo, I always joke around sometimes and go, there's nobody that's going to take over me. I'm too strong-willed,
Right.
And I remember you setting me back one time, like going, "Dude, Roth, it's not about how strong you are. It's about you being able to step up and go, something's not right,
Yeah.
and ask for help. It has nothing to do with how big and bad are you, and you can, And I've learned a lot from Leo over the years, and to actually witness some of this stuff happen to an actual team member, really,
It wakes you up.
it wakes you up. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw I feel now as one of my really good friends, not right, and that made me nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then to get phone calls the next day about, and it just, man, it really, it can happen.
It hits home because, like, we all know that things can happen, sometimes expected, and a lot of times unexpectedly. And I guess, like, for me, I've learned to kind of be on my A game because, okay, even whether it's public or private home investigation or whatever, even if it's a new place I haven't been into, like, I try to remain open, but cautiously in a way because you never know.
I mean, we can only do so much to be in control of the situation, but
Yeah, we
sometimes
got-
it's bigger than us.
Yeah, I've learned that I have to rely and I trust more in my gut instincts
Yeah.
now
Mm-hmm.
because I've kind of, like, Lena's helped me quite a bit on
Mm-hmm.
like honing in on instincts and like really just clearing the head, being like just hearing, looking, and she's been a big
Right.
help in helping me further myself as an investigator.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Just real quick, I can play that video. I found the video from the patty house with the phone getting manipulated by the quote unquote.
Oh, you
demon.
did?
Yeah. So if you want to throw your headphones on, we can listen to it. And
This is awesome.
it's the video from that night that I recorded live during Facebook. And you can see we're all stationary. It says none of us touching the phone. It's on one of our equipment cases. So, give me a second. I'm going to turn it on here. If I can find my mouse cursor and everything. Hang on.
Those are my shoes.
Oh, hang on. This is why. Let me redo it. Here we go. Here we go.
I hope so. I
Those are my
hope so.
shoes.
Are you a demon? The fuck was that?
What was that? Say that again.
Did I say yes?
That was
yes.
real low and growly. Are you? Why did I just flip on this?
Is it fine?
The fuck? What is going on? That's getting manipulated by something. I said maybe,
oh my
maybe
God,
not.
maybe not. It just texted us.
I heard it.
Did you catch
Play
that?
one more time.
I hope so. I hope so.
Are you a demon? The fuck was that?
What was that? Say that again.
Did I say yes?
That was
yes.
real low and growly. Are you? Why did I just flip on this? The fuck? What is going on? That's getting manipulated by something. I said maybe,
oh my
maybe
God,
not.
maybe not. It just texted us.
I heard it.
holy. Wow.
All right, when we're back live, and so you can see that happened during one of our investigations at that place we call the Patty House, where I mean, it was just a stationary, device we were using. We happened to be filming, and we were just asking questions, and that was towards the end of the investigation. I just had this weird feeling that it was getting heavier and darker and stuff. So that's why I asked the question, "Are you a demon?" Because I could just sense it, I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you hear that thing go, yes, real deep and different voice. And then everybody's like, did you guys hear? What the hell is that? We start reacting to it. Well, then I ask again, and that's when the thing manipulates the stationary item, whatever, the screen, and starts typing out, maybe, maybe not. And it's just like, what is that? How are you supposed to take that? Do I take it for face value? Oh, you're a demon, or you're maybe not? I mean, I don't. So we thought about it. That's when shortly after is when we cut the feed, and we discussed it off camera and decided what we wanted to do. And
That was enough to make you call it. And
yeah, because you could, how can I say? You could just feel it in the air. I mean, it was getting
It was so heavy. Yeah.
really heavy and dark. You could feel it like in kind of encasing you, and just
Yeah.
once again, I made the executive decision like, hey, I'm going to talk to y'all on a real level here, and this is the conversation we had off camera. I said, hey, we may be encountering something we've never encountered at that time now, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to go to battle with you guys, but I'm telling you, if you don't feel comfortable, let's not. We don't need to push this. We don't have to. I'm man enough to walk away from this in the moment and not push that, the envelope basically.
And all the years that I've been around the team, with the team, I've heard the stories, but I've never seen that video. That I don't recall seeing it,
Sure.
at least till now.
It used to be
So-
in the intro, one of the old intros.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it still is.
I guess I didn't notice it was in the intro.
Roast feeding the ghosts and the demons in here. You hear it beeping.
Come on
It keeps
over.
beeping in the ED. It's funny that once again, it's going off.
Once
yeah.
again, we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
and
Demons. It seems like if you mention demons tonight, that starts
Yeah.
going on.
Which I love talking about demons and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, last week we didn't mention nothing about, or 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
nothing about demons.
but we were talking about our cases now, and
That's true.
that's kind of that's what this episode was going to be about tonight. I'll wait till everybody gets in the room, like Jake and Dan and Jason, so we can go over that. I was going to play a lot of our evidence over the years because we always talk about everybody else's cases out there. We never talk about much of ours. We talk about one at a time, but I was just going to go from our start to finish kind of as much as I could, and just
Yeah.
play some of our best evidence. And that was one of them. I mean, I feel like that's a strong evidence because it happened live on Facebook. At the time, I was doing a live investigation, and it wasn't manipulated. It was people could see from the start of that video, before even that clip, what was happening to us and everything. They saw everything and experienced with us. So we could see eye shine in the back corner. There was no animals or nobody back in there, and people and the viewers at home were commenting. I see that back there too, because it kept. Once again, it's this thing in the corner kept chasing, and it was in a dark corner. So it's like I shouldn't see anything
Yeah.
in a dark corner, but it was bizarre. It's one of those cases that will stick with me for a
Yeah.
while, and I would love to
I
do a
have
part two to
noticed-
that.
What, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm done. Go ahead.
I have noticed that, the heaviness feel
Mm-hmm.
more often.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when a few of us went to the one case in El Dorado,
Mm-hmm.
when some of us went over to the wooded area, it was like as soon as we crossed that line, it was just an immediate heavy feeling.
yep,
Yeah.
especially on your shoulders. Just
Yeah.
that it's like,
Like a
somebody
weight.
just like a
Like-
weight.
Engulfed you, because Jason and I looked at each other and we're like, do we keep going or do we just stand right here?
Right. Yeah, like I said, it's about safety. I mean, it's easy to say what. I mean, people from think about all the shows you see on TV. I mean, you see if they ever have that type of situation. Granted, most of that's entertainment, but you would say, "Oh, I would have stayed there." Would you have though? You don't know until you're faced with that situation. And same thing with us. It's kind of a judgment call in the moment. How do we want to handle this? And we chose to take a different route. So.
I think it's easy to say in whatever situation, hypothetically think about a situation and how you'd react, but until you're actually in that situation, it's a total different story.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, because I think if it would have just been Leo and Jason and Jeremiah, they would have
Yeah.
stayed.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have pushed
You
it
know.
more. But like I said, I worried about mostly Cody because he was a young kid at the time, and I don't.
Yep.
It's a lot to force on somebody. That's unsuspected, I guess we'll say, of what could have possibly happened because he was still new to the group.
Yep.
I mean, that might have been only the second or third time he was with us. I think on a case, and just there's a time and place for that. That wasn't the time. So,
Yeah.
but
I think I would have been like that too, worried about him if I was there in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've been even some of the public investigations when we've had people with their teenagers come in on the investigation. Like when we went to the Wolf Hotel
Mm-hmm.
and Renee, Stacy, and I's group had a couple of teenagers with us, and when we went over to the bathhouse, we wanted to ask more certain questions, but we didn't feel comfortable asking certain
Right.
adult style
Mhm.
conversations to the lady of the night with the kids there because
Yeah.
it wasn't, right. But
Sorry, I was stepping to the viewers.
that was a fun place to go. Hopefully we'll get back to the wolf at some point.
No, one of the viewers, Bree, she said
Oh, there's a double.
she thought you said a cave in El Dorado, but I think you said the case in El Dorado, and I'm sure closed captions probably typed it up as cave.
Yes, Kate.
Because Rio was telling me a couple weeks ago when we were on our last episode, I said something about a full body apparition. I think it came out typed as full body abortion or something.
I remember that. Yeah, I was watching that.
I wasn't talking about
I
an
went,
abortion. It was
"What?"
apparition, and sometimes closed caption
Yeah.
types what it wants to. So
And sometimes my southern gets a little where it's harder people understand. They're like, what?
so it took me a while too. I'm like, did she say cave? Oh, I bet she just said cave.
You speak fluent, Andy, don't you?
It's better when you type it out and I capture it because then I'll quote you and then you fix it. I'm like, then you make me look like an idiot because you corrected yourself.
That sounds like Renee and I earlier. I was like, you speak fluent, Andy. And then I said Renee speaks fluent Spanglish, so we all get each other well.
Well, that's how the whole ducking came about. Remember I was trying to cuss at you guys one day or something? I was like, no, that... And then it came out as ducking.
My phone still changed that word to duck all the time.
No, mine does too. So that's how you got the moniker of ducking from Carl,
Yeah.
Captain Carl.
I still laugh every time I see it.
Because it does to me all the time. I get so mad. Autocorrect gets me every time. So...
Sorry, Bree.
Yeah, she goes, I wasn't aware of any caves there. So that's why I had
Yeah.
That'd be cool if there is. There might be by the... is there any by the lake? Probably not. Or I don't know. I don't go out there
Not
enough.
that I've seen, because I've spent a lot of time at
Yeah.
El Dorado. There is some caves that we've been to in Kansas, but it's
Mhm.
been in other places, but
Yeah.
not around there.
Yeah. Yeah. Caves are another thing, too. We've had the opportunity to go to a few. I mean, we're talking... Ezra dies over there. You okay over there, buddy?
Sinuses.
Yeah. It doesn't
But,
help the
man.
weather going from like 70 to 20 and
Yeah.
I guess it was a trooper.
The whole Jekyll and Hyde thing, yep.
I don't have my phone on, Carl.
No, I think it's the setting in Facebook now that auto generates.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure I can
noticed
turn them off.
the first podcast that y'all did when I had to work that Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
like a month ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever. And when I was able to watch a little bit of it, had the closed caption
Yeah.
on. But
I'm sure I could probably turn them off. I just leave them on. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah.
because you were here for that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like I said, you never know what you're going to get into in a case. And like I said, it's when a client comes in and tells me, hey, I've experienced this, and that, I'm like, okay. Now, hopefully we can either, recapture that same claim or, maybe possibly, I hate to use the word debunk because everybody uses that word, debunk it. But I don't take it, like I said, once again, I don't take it for face value. I just go in and try to see because sometimes we come up with stuff, they're like, well, I don't remember ever hearing this, and now you captured this for me. What does that mean? We come out with sometimes with more questions than answers, or, we can give them, solidarity, excuse me, as far as what they are experiencing was or wasn't a haunting.
Yeah.
We're never there to prove or disprove. We're just there to help them answer questions to what they're experiencing. And there's been quite a few cases like that where they said, oh, it's just this, and then we've caught other things there, like a female voice they've never even heard. I'm like, why is there a female here? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. This is your house.
Right.
Well, and it could be something that's maybe attached with us because we all,
Yeah.
which we talked about previously in another episode, do we have possessions, or attachments to us? Not possessions, attachments. I don't know. I mean, we possibly it'd be foolish not to think we don't, because I mean, we've been in a lot of places, like the basements and some of the places I've been to. I'm like, I can't believe I'm even in this place because it's not it's not sanitary as it is or whatever. It's just, but we do it because we're there to help.
Yes. It's like disheartening for, I think, all of us as a team, as a whole, when we do go into a location, because just like whether it's public or private, we never know what we're going to get. And as much as we want something to happen, we're not always going to get something to happen, and to not be able to help the homeowners is disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
But I think of that there's like this stigma, for lack of a better word, for when we do the public investigations where people come in expecting
Yeah.
that something's going to happen. And it's like, so I know we're good about saying, you know, we can't make something happen, and some
Right.
people get upset, and it's just like, well, we try to explain it to them, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, one way to look at it is, depending on your belief system, every place is haunted or every place is not haunted. So it just
Yeah.
depends on what you want to believe and think and
Yeah.
are open to.
And that's one thing, it's hard to sometimes with the home investigation, because
Mhm.
we go in there and help them, but we never really know if it's something really paranormal, if it's something that's not paranormal. And that's something like I try to keep in mind when we go into someone's home, like, okay, this is their space,
Mhm.
but we have to, I guess, figure out, is it or is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times it's a simple, well, they opened this door, so that one closed.
Yeah.
And it's time to go.
And
You
you
know.
know, the haunting doesn't always necessarily happen at night. Now, do we investigate mostly at night? Yes, because we use infrared cameras and whatnot, things that can see better, you know, in different spectrums, light spectrums. But the haunting can happen any day time. We've been through, you know, many cases investigating during the day and had just as much success as we had, you know, even in the evening. So
Yeah.
we talked about the one a couple weeks ago that the Camden, almost at the place, at the place where I fell through the ceiling, and we did that. It was overnight.
The cave.
Yeah, the cave. Yep. And you know, that place it was so dark in there. You know, your mind. It was a total, for lack of a better part of my French, is a mind fuck. You know, we went in there and the whole time you think it's nighttime, and you come out and it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. You're like, holy crap! What?
Yeah.
My mind is just blown, because we got there we had to be there like at 2, because the place was a functioning bar. We had to go wait till it closed and they cleaned up and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah, I find myself doing that when we're on investigations, where if it's public and we're on rotation, but if it's like team only stuff,
mhm.
I just get so enamored in what we're doing that like we're all kind of in the moment, not caring about what's kind of going on or like outside of where we are.
Outside
That
of
we're just
everything.
kind of there in the moment doing our thing. And
I miss that.
Yeah, see, and that's kind of what Heath said also too, because I was talking about, you know, the cleanliness of the place,
Yes.
or whatever, you know, the environment we're in. He said
I
sometimes it
think
gets so
that-
centered on what we're doing that
yeah, I think
forget.
that kind of referred to a private case.
Mhm.
Case.
Private cave, right?
Yeah, private cave that we did right before Halloween.
Was I there?
Up near Nebraska.
Oh, okay, I didn't go to that one.
You know, it was
Yeah.
Heath, Rhea, sorry, and
Renee.
Carl, and
Captain,
I.
yeah.
That we had stuff happen, but
Right.
just it wasn't the best living situation.
Right. Once we found out, because I didn't go, but just from your guys' description and stuff, it's like they're having the faulty wiring is a
Yes.
big thing, because it creates
I think that had a lot to
big-
do with it.
a big what they call fear cage, because you're sitting in a area of nothing but high EMF,
Yeah, 'cause
electromagnetic
being with
field.
Carl in one area of the house, and we're just looking at
Mhm.
the panel board where everything's like coming and going, and Carl doing everything he does, God bless him. He's just like, this ain't good, that's not good. I'm like, okay, should we really be inside right now?
Right. I mean, you got to think about your own safety too, because
It's every time I
That's awesome.
start messing with the Twizzlers.
that was awesome, because you had to think about your own safety, and that thing lit up big time. I watched it on camera. That's why I saw it.
Come get a Twizzler, buddy. Come on.
That was the most it's ever done.
Come on now. Come on now. Sorry.
But no,
so many
because
things I could say right now.
we're talking about places like the atmosphere, because we've done outdoor investigations where we've gone through forests and, you know, the woods and all that stuff, and we're climbing around and there's ticks all over. I mean, and stuff. Which the place I'm talking about was Tahlequah, and I remember it was funny because I don't know if did you ever get a tick on you when you were down there?
No.
I didn't either, because every time Jason went down there, they came back with multiple ticks.
Yeah.
Some of the other people did too.
But we didn't go, out and I don't think we went out
Oh, you
like
didn't
they
go
did.
out there. I did.
You did?
Oh yeah, we went down to the caves. You didn't go to the caves, did
Where
you?
did I go?
I have no idea.
You went to the caves?
This was actual caves with the V. 'Cause we went. Well, I was gonna go back because to the very first trip there. It was the middle of the night. Well, we went down there early in the day, but you have to cross a barbed wire fence to get over there. And coming back up the very first time I went there, I got caught on it and it ripped a hole right through my crotch of my jeans, whatever. And it's just like, I mean, you have to go to your environment. You have to adapt to your environment. So I'm out there with holy jeans in the wrong part, and it's just we're climbing over and under barbed wire, and you're bound to get dirty or ticks, and there's snakes everywhere out there, copperheads out there, and all kinds of stuff. And we put ourselves in some weird, dangerous spots. But when you do it, in the moment, you don't even think about it. We just go out there and do. We're trying to capture evidence. I just heard a voice right there. Sorry. That's interesting. What time was that? 8:03. Okay, but. Sorry, I'm listening because it's still talking. Hopefully the cameras or the mics pick that up because I can hear whispering. I think it's like right here in front of me. Anyways, so we're out there doing, investigating. I mean, we never know what we're getting into because there's also mountain lions up there. There's all kinds of stuff out there and wild boars out there and actual bears where we were at. So it's just like we put ourselves at risk, but you never know what you're going to get into. What did it say? Oh, Carl knows because every time we still would talk about Tahlequah, the podcast would shut down.
Well,
and that would happen, see?
And he said...
That's awesome.
Did it say Twizzlers? Because it happened not long after he offered
Yeah, he keeps throwing Twizzlers out something. These dolls are, like I said, they're on a table in between.
Is it because
them
Roth
and
is
us.
here? Because a lot happens, even if Roth is not with us, Roth gets called out a lot.
That's
And
just
if
for the
Leo's
spirit
not
box.
with us, Leo gets called out.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
He
because the
does.
things that I think we look for, they know. Because I've done a lot of experiments while we're there at places, and I like to do things out of the norm that I don't think people tried, and
I love that
it
you bring
reacts.
that aspect.
It reacts to what I'm trying to do, and before I can even do it, sometimes it's like it knows. So, and that's happened quite. Like I talked about earlier, that's happened quite a bit where we've gone to location or tried to go location, and something.
Did you hear that?
What'd you hear?
I heard a male's voice.
Oh yeah, okay, I heard that too. Then
Like a yeah.
Yeah,
You go,
okay, I heard that.
Like
Why are you looking at me like that?
But we were supposed to go to a location. I'll say we were supposed to go to Missouri State Pen to investigate,
Oh, yeah.
and we were literally that Friday. We're gonna leave, take off Friday morning. That Thursday night is when I think it was the Thursday night. The day before we were supposed to leave, the big tornado hit.
Oh, yes.
And hit the Missouri State Pen, and then that's when they had flooding over there too because it was raining so much as a result, and we had to back off because it was unsafe. The building was, well, luckily the building didn't take a big hit. It was ended up being more towards the grounds and stuff like that, but and also but the fear of the Missouri River, overflowing into the area because it's right next to the Missouri River. We just said we can't
And
do
a lot of
this.
stuff's happened along that river.
Yeah. So it was like a warning to us, you can't come here. Like in the closet with, Jeremiah and Ruth too, apparently. But still, it's like it was a warning, message to us, you're not supposed to be here. So we've never made it out there as a result, which kind of sucks.
Stacy and I talked about doing that because we saw a Facebook post
seen
in the
that,
last
too.
week or two about,
Yeah.
and we thought there's so many that we see that we want to go do that we just need to go do something.
Right. Yeah, and hopefully, now that hopefully numbers are dropping enough with COVID that we can start getting out there more because we're going to hopefully do a lot more traveling this year out of state.
Yes.
Because I got some places
Especially
lined
now
up.
that things are under like the 5%
Mm-hmm.
COVID. Because I think we're all itching to get out there and do more. And
Right. And that's a lot of the reason you don't see me on places because I'm not putting myself at risk and others at risk because I just
Yeah.
been too greatly affected by COVID, unfortunately, on a personal level and stuff. So I'm just not even going to
Yeah.
challenge that. It is what it is. I mean, it's my own choice, you know. And
And you gotta do what's best for you and your family, and
Of course,
that's
yeah.
understandable.
yep. So but we're not going to get on that political rant at all because that's
Yeah.
not this. That's not the show for it. So, but no, like I said, it's you never know what you're going to come across. I'm trying to think of what else, some other places, because like the Delano places were very cool. I mean, just some of the stuff and that's what's always fascinated me about investigating and all the stuff I've seen historically and experience on a paranormal level. It's places. I mean, it's things I thought I never would ever get the opportunity to experience, and it's always mind blowing when we come across something that we weren't planned for, because like I said, the owners tell us so much, they know, but they don't know the full scope of it because maybe they're not in tune with it.
Yeah, because didn't you guys do one where the lady was having issues with an ex-boyfriend, and then when you guys got I couldn't go.
Keep talking because you're going to jog my memory because
It was you and Jeremiah. It was you and Jeremiah, and I
Uh-huh.
think Jason.
Okay.
You guys got there, and there was like somebody had put salt
Okay. Talking about the
all around
voodoo
the
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You witnessed some pretty intense stuff there, didn't you?
Yeah, once again, that was bizarre because it was in Wichita, and not in the greatest part of town, so we didn't know. She sent me all kinds of... The stories she was telling me, I was just like, this is too far. This is Hollywood movie, we're talking here. She was seeing these little people supposedly dancing in her shower, every time she would try to take a shower, so she was afraid to even be in the house by herself. She would see just random things. I mean, she kept telling me they keep harassing me. She goes, I try to put my shoes on. There's burn marks on my shoes. There's all kinds of stuff. And she would send me these pictures. I'm like, I got to take it once again. I can't take it for face value. I mean, it could be cigarette burns. It could be just whatever. I'm not gonna say anything about this till I get the opportunity to go see it, investigate. And she was sending me these pictures. She said she had an ex-husband, I think is what it was, or boyfriend, and he started dating a girl from Louisiana. So once again, I'm already thinking, okay, is this voodoo related? And then she started sending me these pictures. She said they got in my trash and they took some of my hair. What the hell was that?
Click.
Yeah, that was weird. They took some of my hair out of the trash, and I think they've done something to it because now I'm having some weird things going on. And she said I came out to my house and there was this white stuff all over my house, and it looked like salt to me. Like either something. They either put it around the whole perimeter of the house on the outside. Either they're trying to conjure something up, or I mean, did she do it to keep something out? I don't know. I just, once again, I'm taking those claims for what they are. Mm-hmm. And she goes, now they're drawing symbols on my car, and she has all these scratches on the back of her car where, whatever, I mean, once again, I'm thinking, well, it could be keys. Somebody keyed your car, I'm not going to say, oh, it's voodoo, or, I'll take when I get the chance to go there, I'll see what we can come up, possibly with. And she would call me day and night continuously. And I'm like, all right, we got to get out there because she's obviously panicking bad, and we need to figure out what's going on. So we went on a Friday night. It was just myself, Jeremiah, and another investigator. Jason didn't get to go to that one either. It was a former investigator. No, we went on a spur of the moment kind of a thing. And when we got to the house, there was only one chair in the whole house, like a recliner, sitting in the middle of her room, and that was it. Like she was so far detached, she wouldn't stay there anymore. She was just, I don't know why the recliner was there, but I mean, of all things. So we got free reign of the place. She was there, and you go in certain parts of the house, in this one particular corner in the living room where it attaches to the dining room, I walked into it by accident. I'm like, oh my God, because it just hit me, and I felt like I was going to throw up because of the intensity of the place. It's like you walk in, and it's just like your head starts going, the in and out kind of thing. That's what it was. And I was like, that's bizarre. And then I was like, maybe it's just me, thinking maybe I'm whatever. So I step out of the area, and I'm like, okay, I feel fine. I kept going back and forth testing that theory. Well, then I put my hand in it. You could just feel it. So I took a meter over there, and sure enough, the thing just shot up. I'm like, holy shit, what's so special about this corner? And I'm not saying anything to her or anything. She goes, yeah, that's where they come from. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, Because I didn't think she was watching me because she was kind of keeping an eye on all of us, with Jeremiah and the investigators that was with us. not keeping an eye, but just keeping on what we were doing to see how we were investigating, because they were in the other side of the house at the time. So anyways, we did that part, and I told Jeremiah, come here for a minute. He was like, what's up? I said, come here. So I had him put his hand in there, and sure enough, he was like, what the hell? He felt it right away too. You just feel like a vibration and things. And as we're doing this, we see this black shadow outside the back of the house take off running. We're like, what the hell? Somebody's out there. So we chased this thing out in the backyard, and she has a fenced-in yard, and you didn't hear anybody moving. You would have heard dogs next door going crazy, and you didn't hear any of that going on. It was just like, okay, what the hell did we just see? And we just kept, doing more investigating. As we went into the basement, we went to this one room below where that main area would be at. It's just a bedroom. And I was upstairs on the stairwell, because they went down there, all of them did. There was Jeremiah, the investigator, and her. I went downstairs. I sat upstairs and was kind of just listening and stuff, and they're like, hey, come here for a minute. So I went down the stairs and went to this room, like, what is this? I look at it, and it looks like just dripping water. So stupid us, put our hands in it, thinking, do you have a leak here, is it water? But it was like gelatinous. It was like Jello kind of thing. We're like, what the fuck is this? I think, and this is my own opinion, we kind of came up with the conclusion, I think that was ectoplasm.
Oh, wow.
Which, you hear about that from, Ghostbusters, speaking of Ghostbusters again, and all this shit. It's like, but why is it? Because it looked like somebody was just dripping it down the walls. And only this one wall had it. I'm like, why did we touch it? We probably shouldn't have, but we did, nonetheless. And
because we're men.
She goes, huh?
Because we're men.
We're idiots, right? She said, I don't even know what that is. I've never seen that before. And I don't know what it was either, but I caught some weird evidence for that house and just some of the stuff. And once again, she's another one that just disappeared off the face of the earth. Once again, I won't return my call. I'm like, lady, I got stuff. You wanted evidence. Here it is. And she just, I don't know. I don't know what happened to her. I called her multiple times and she wouldn't return my call. Like I said earlier before this, I told you guys, she was hitting me up daily and nightly and said, you got to get out here. Because the first time I ever got it, I saw some strange. I was mowing my grass in my other house. I was like, what? There's a weird number. I'm like, well, I'm going to answer. I don't know why. Something compelled me to answer it. I didn't recognize the number. And she goes, and she started just telling me the story right then and there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we can come out. I was trying to get, that's when you did most of the casework.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I'll have my case manager contact you, She's like, well, I need this. And she told me the whole story. So I don't think you even got a chance to contact her because I was like, well, here I am.
I think you guys were worried about who went over, too.
Yeah, because it's in the bad part of Wichita. I mean, like the real bad part. Like I was leaving Larry going to there that night. As we pulled up, there was cops outside next door to the house, the house next door to us, and there was something going on already. And it's just like, this is gonna be a fun night. But we're talking ghetto basically, and it's just like, yeah, well. And that's not the first place we've been into the ghetto. We've been quite a few places, which brings an interesting point, or a question, should I say, not a point.
Oh.
Do you think because of the location itself, like the areas that are more crime-ridden, the ghetto areas, maybe the poorer part of town, does that have effect on the paranormal? I mean, is it because of the area? I've always thought this too.
I have a friend that lives, I don't know that I would call it ghetto part of town, but
Sure.
the good part of town, that he has said that there's stuff in the duplex that he lives in, the house, whatever it is, and he's very interested in the paranormal, and I kind of wondered then, and then after hearing what you just said, it makes me wonder even more because the stuff that he's told me.
Right.
And there is a lot of cops close by and things happening that, now hearing that, what you said makes me wonder even more.
And
So I would say yes.
yeah. Well, I mean, Rhea said maybe more trauma in that area, which I would agree, and that's kind of what I always thought my thought process was, because a lot more happen. I mean, it can happen anywhere. Somebody can get killed at any location, no matter whether it's the highest in, the richest part of town to the lowest,
And
depths
like
of
Rhea's
hell, basically.
saying, trauma, it may be more trauma, and that could be because if it's a higher crime area, that could be part turned paranormal, where more things are happening.
Well,
Yeah, because we always get a lot of people from those parts of town or in areas, and I'm like, I have to go there again. Do I really want to do this?
well,
I
if
wanna
you go
help the
back in and you
paranormal,
listen
yes.
to everyone from you guys to mediums to people that live in the houses, they thrive off of negativity,
Yeah.
the energy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if you're going to go off that, I
Yeah.
would say probably so, because I mean, if you get to go into a house and cause a bunch of mischief, and then you go outside the house and it's everywhere, you're like, you know. But if you're in the burbs, you're like negativity. You go out, oh, why are you being so nice?
Yeah.
You know, oh,
Yeah.
quit watering my lawn for it. I don't want you to bring the paper to me. You know, you're not going to hang out there long.
And Stacy brings an interesting point too. She said maybe it's the older part of town, which that's probably true too. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where a lot of those areas are centered around. Is
Yeah, that like just like Delano in downtown with the older history.
Mhm.
And,
well, that was because especially the old red light district. Some of those areas
Yeah.
we were at, in Delano and whatnot. That's why we had some of the Cowboys interaction possibly and whatnot. But yeah, and I just always thought that it wasn't really a question that I didn't really have my own personal beliefs in. It's just I kind of knew that answer. It's because I think those areas they've seen too much shit more than other areas, because they experience it on a daily basis with drugs to crime to whatever. It's just poverty. I mean, it's a bad situation most of the time, and those areas, like you said, thrive on negativity. Unfortunately, the paranormal sometimes does.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It's just that's why when I get cases like those, I'm like, how much of this is real or not, or how much of it is brought on because of your situation, like the voodoo house I was talking about. Because as much as I was keeping an eye on what was happening inside the house, I was also kind of keeping an eye outside the house because I'm like. Here we are going into this place, and if the ex-husband is a crazy, I kept asking her, is he going to be okay if we're here? Because I don't want to get any interaction with this guy I've never met before. He doesn't know why we're there. He
Yeah,
sees a
because
bunch of-
some of the stories was him driving
oh yeah,
back and forth, looking at the house.
yeah. He rode a bike all the time, like a bicycle, and he'd just go up and down the neighborhood, and would just come by and yell at her and obscenities at her or whatever, and then drive off, and that's why she thought she was cursed. And yeah, it's just interesting the stuff I saw and experienced, and which I actually remember all the stuff in that case because it was the ectoplasm one that stands out obviously the most because I've never seen that. So every time I've ever experienced that or seen that, and it, I kid you not, it just looked like water dripping the whole one wall, and so it's like, well, why is that leaking? So I touched it, and that's when I was like, oh, this is like Jello, like really.
And there's
yeah.
nowhere that could have. I mean,
Well,
where would it
what?
come from?
I don't know. There's nothing there because the house was empty. I mean, could have been something in the walls or the ceiling. I don't know because it was in the basement. But above us was a big open area for the dining or the living room.
Have you ever done any history? Looked that up to see if it's happened in other places?
What, ectoplasm? Oh yeah, it happens there more. It happens a lot more than I shouldn't say a lot, but it does happen. It's very rare, but it does happen. I know there's pictures of, if anybody ever watched the Hans Holzer files with, used to be a guy named Dr. Hans Holzer. He did a lot of things like that. Well, they used to do a lot of seances that people would experience, supposedly ectoplasm and stuff like that. I don't know why with seances, but back in the early days. I don't know, and that's where, because there was a show called Factor of Fate where they tried to debunk it, because there's a case where people were doing that, and all the pictures, they had the smoke, like ectoplasm coming out of their mouth. So they're like, well, this was at the times, the 30s or whatever, 40s, was it staged because they were trying to freak people out, whatever, in the room, so they made things happen that nobody knows.
Oh.
But for the time, it's just like, they didn't have as much stuff as we would today to do that kind of fake stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to read the comments too. But yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered things. I never take say cases for face value. I want to know more into it. Was it the soil? Was it because we always get the new, and I've said this before ad nauseum on the podcast. We went to a friend of mine's house out in Andover. You went to that one, didn't you? Were you at that one? Way up north. It was a brand new house, a gigantic house. It was brand new.
Oh, the firefighter?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, yes. I thought you
I
were
was
there.
just getting ready to
Yeah.
talk about that one.
And she's like, I don't understand. I have a brand new house. Why is my house on? I'm like, well, here's my take on it. Yeah, you're on the ground that you're on. This has been here forever. The dirt, whatever. But I said, what about this wood? Where did it come from? We don't know the origin of this wood. And if, energy tends to, be attached to objects like this, why couldn't it come from? I always use this example. I'm not saying that's where I thought it came from. What if it came from a battlefield, or, where a lot of death happened, things attached to this wood, and then now you're building your house with it, unbeknownst,
Yeah.
It's just something I've always thought about, and it's like, it's possible. And when you give it to them in those terms, it's like, oh, I never thought about that. But in her case, I was like, well, and this is the funny thing I love when I see people's reaction. I was like, well, have you brought anything new into the house recently? And she's like, no, nothing I can think of.
And look, I'm messing with the Twizzlers again.
Maybe you're making it hungry. I said,
Maybe it's mad you didn't bring Bob and Luigi's for it.
no, next time you should have. But no, I said, you didn't buy anything at an auction. You didn't get anything from a family heirloom. And the light bulb went on. She's like, oh my God, now that you say that, we just got my grandfather had this old tricycle. They gave it to they had a younger daughter. I think she was maybe 2 or 3 at the time. That it was my grandfather's, or I think it was her grandfather's.
I think it was a rocker.
They brought it. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, they
had brought a rocker.
and it was in
too.
her room, whatever. And the daughter was seeing a lot of the stuff. The younger daughter was experiencing things, and I don't know. It was just the more we got into it, and she told me, she's like, my past relationship with my father, my real father, wasn't the greatest, and she kept seeing this man at the foot of her bed, and I was like, well, maybe it's him. Maybe he's trying to say, hey, I'm sorry, or maybe he's still trying to control you. I mean, because she said it wasn't that good of an experience, and we came across some evidence there for her that kind of helped ease her mind, with that stuff, and it was pretty interesting. But that's what they never think about in the moment. Did I have anything? No, I didn't bring anything.
I never really thought about it either, because we had a private case out in El Dorado that
Same case?
they had brought.
Same cave?
The caves, yeah. There was stuff brought home from other places that,
The Traveler.
yes, that could have
Right.
had something. And one of my readings with Lena, she said, there's a man at your house. And there is a spirit where I live, and I've seen him. But when she said that, I mean, there's no way that Lena could have known it, because I've never really told anybody this. I came home one day, come down the stairs, and everybody else was gone. I was the only one there, and it was like all of a sudden I seen this black full body apparition.
Right.
I had just came in from the walkout basement. It came down the stairs, stopped once it got to the landing, and then turned to walk down the hall. And I'm like, started yelling out names, because I'm like, okay, am I just seeing stuff,
Right.
or did I really see what I think I just saw? And I went down the hall, I looked down the basement, the bathroom, the bedroom, I went upstairs, went out in the garage, looked out in the driveway. Nobody else was there.
Sure.
And for Lena to tell me that we have a spirit there, and he's either tied to the house or the property, and she just kind of stopped and she's looking at me and she goes, you've seen him. And it kind of took me back, because I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody knows this. And I didn't really think about it till that point, that it could be tied to the house, an
Sure.
object, property. It
Yeah.
just, I guess I never really stopped to think about that in depth until that point.
Right. I think that's a lot of people don't understand. It's like, how do I get this? I mean, and maybe it was there before you got there too. And I mean, not in your
Yeah,
case, but I'm talking
I
about
think-
in other people's.
I think who's at my house now
Mhm.
was there prior to us all moving in, but
Yeah.
So what are your, instead of it being tied to the wood or a piece of furniture, so let's go, the investigation you were just talking about was amazing, because it was a new home.
Right.
And then we finally found out, because remember when we flipped that thing over, it had a right, remember they found
Yes.
the writing, and it was from a little girl that had passed away
Right.
of cancer or
Forgot all
something like
about
that, remember?
Holy crap, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that particular
right.
time, it was an actual item.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say it's that new building or brand new building that we
Right.
get, that right around the hallway, you go this way, and we get a lot of stuff in this hallway area. What about maybe building over portals more than it is actually tied to
Yeah.
the wood or the
Sure,
house?
the location. That kind of goes back to the ground itself. I'm going to say the dirt that
Mm-hmm.
it's built upon, because that could have been in that case too. But, well, and there's a good example, and I'm curious, and I'm also disappointed at the same token. There is everybody heard of the Viper Room out in L.A., where it
Yes.
was owned by Johnny Depp at one
And
point. It's
there was
where
a-
River Phoenix
Yes,
passed away.
died. Yep.
Who, what?
River Phoenix passed away in front of a drug overdose. It was a big, seedy, trendy scene back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
It's still there. I know Ghost Adventures did an episode over it and had some supposedly good evidence. I mean, from what I watched, I thought it was pretty compelling. I mean, now once again, it's entertainment, so who knows? But I've been out there on the outside of it. I've never been into it. I wish I would have now, because who knows when I'm going back to LA. But
Maybe
I've
next
seen it
time
multiple times.
We all go there.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
we all
getting ready.
go there.
It was sold a couple years ago to. I mean, it's still in existence, but they're getting ready to tear it down.
Oh, really?
Yes, I know. That's why I'm pissed off about it too, Ghost. So I'm kind of pissed off about it that they're tearing it down. They're supposedly going to do some kind of. What they're building is a 12-story like hotel and living quarters for people, and typical urban, restoration. We'll call it, I guess, not restoration,
Maybe
but
we need to go to LA like
urbanization.
really fast.
Do what?
Maybe we need to go to LA like really fast.
I need to. I would like to, but it sucks. They're getting rid of another and people in the area, because that's, if you're big into like music like I am, that's where all the bands, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, all those bands started there. In that
Yeah,
area, and that's where they played the Whiskey a Go Go down the street. They played all these famous places, and the Viper Room was there. It used to be a.
Yeah.
Granted, back in the 80s and 90s, it was a place where a lot of young teenagers went, and Hollywood teenagers, the celebrities, went to party and
Yeah.
and do drugs and stuff like that. It got a bad reputation.
Long before they were legally aged to get in
Mhm.
there, and yeah.
Because back in those times, especially like during the River Phoenix years, the people that worked there said they hated it, because it's like, all I would do here is babysit the brats of Hollywood that were here partying, and getting tore up, whatever, drunk and high, whatever, and it was a bad place to be. So what I'm getting to is they're going to tear that area down. The question a lot of people in the paranormal field are saying is like, I wonder how much is going to happen once they build over that location. Are they going to, because who knows what they're going to open, what kind of can of worms.
The residual could stay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that a lot of people realize that.
Or the evilness of it, because there's a lot of dark stuff that's happened. Because it used to be a mob hangout also too, way back in the days, where there's confirmed deaths on there. There used to be an owner that would shoot his people there, whatever, or enemies there, and it's been confirmed. I mean, it's in history books or not history books, and the papers and stuff like that, where confirmed deaths have happened. So you're asking, yes, it's supposed to be this big, bright, shiny new place they're building over it, developments, but I wonder how much of it it's going to linger and up through the place. So going to what your question is it the land? Is it the area? Who knows?
Yeah.
We're about to find out, hopefully. And that's what I'm counting on.
I wonder if where Tupac was killed in Vegas,
Yeah.
if that place is haunted at.
He was not
Well,
killed.
it's kind of hard because he's still living in Cuba.
He's
so.
still living.
No. You think it's haunted in that area? Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised Zach Bagans hasn't gone and explored right there, or investigated right this.
Because they did one hotel on one of the shows, and I had one in it before like a week or two before they officially shut it down.
Which hotel?
It's
where
right
at?
across.
In Vegas?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's been several years
you're
ago.
talking
like-
about the, oh god dang it, hang on.
I want to say the Rio, but that's off the strip.
Riviera?
Yeah, Riviera.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one. Gotta find the picture. I don't know where it's at. I don't know the picture, damn it. What was Dan was here?
I think
The
it's
picture
right
of
across
Dan?
the street from the Stratosphere, because that's
Mm-hmm.
where
Oh, shoot.
we were.
I don't even know
Stay
where
in
that
that
picture
one.
is. We have that famous picture of Dan outside the front of it. God damn it.
Oh, with all the ladies.
I wish I knew where that was at. 'Cause
What does Dan call himself?
sexy motherfucker.
Yes.
Oh, fucking
We
Dan. I
need
wish he
him
was
here to say that.
I have to find it because it's fucking funny. But I don't know if I can find it in time. Dang it. But yeah, that was the place they went out there because they were one of the last times they went in and investigated was there, and that's another place
Before
that
it's
was
demolished.
yeah, was I'm sure the ground, you know, because
Yes.
once again a lot of mob stuff went on in there and suicides. That lady jumped out the window and
Yeah. I
from
forgot
high
about
up.
that.
Yep. So, Dirty Dan. Yep. God dang, I wish I could find that. But yeah, he was out. He's like, we have a picture of Dan out in front of there. That he made the mistake of sending it to us. I'm like, all right.
Right? And
I
then
mean,
when we put it up that one time, the look on his face was priceless.
Was it?
Oh my God, it was funny because if it's out there and I know about it, I'm gonna put it up there. Trust me.
He didn't put it up on our chat group or anything?
I don't even know
I don't
why.
know if it's been in the chat. It's on his Facebook. I'll have to find it.
Yeah. Like I said,
I think that was one of his profile pictures that was at some point.
one of his what? Yeah,
One of his
I think he had
profile
just
pictures.
posted it. Yeah, and that's where I thought I'm like, okay, I'm grabbing this bad boy because
Blackmail.
we're gonna do something with this. Oh damn it! I wish I could find it. Son of a bitch. Because yes. But I don't know. So I'm curious. Like I said, like especially the Viper Room. I'm curious because,
Yeah.
well, I mean, our good buddy David Oman out in L.A., Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Same thing. I mean, he built down the 150 feet from where the murders happened, and he has stuff in his house. And I remember asking him when I was out there, "Did your neighbors have the same stuff?" And he goes, "Well, they don't like to talk about it as much as I was open to it, you know." But I'm sure. But he said some people have told him some things.
Too bad we didn't have the $2.7 million to buy the house next to David.
Right. There was a house down below him that was for sale that I wanted, and then the one above. Because the one down below was from a famous actor who lived there. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause he used to say, I used to see him out there sunbathing. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, with the house next to him, I would love to buy that just for the history and also, you know, to investigate the house too. Ghost wants to see it too. Oh, when the thing went off. I'm trying to find it. I can't remember where I had it. I need to start keeping these in better locations so I can.
Yeah, because
Get
every
to it.
time I hear, like, L.A., I
Mhm.
think about us going to David's house because I knew that we could go there, and I thought, oh, there's all these other places that we could go to.
Yeah, I need to go out there and just do an actual paranormal trip because there's so many places out there.
Dan, looks like Dan's online, so he's probably hidden it from us by now.
Yeah, I can't find it. I'm trying to search for
Oh, I have it. I just gotta, like I said, grab it.
it. Should be on his upload, shouldn't it?
Could
I don't
be- I don't know how far back it was.
Who knows? I'll get it for next week, and we'll embarrass him if he goes. Well, you guys, we probably want to do a show next week actually because
Oh, yeah, because everybody might be tired.
they may not be back in time because they're going to be traveling. A long
Well,
distance.
from what I've heard, we're going to be up till almost 4 or 5 in the morning. So
Probably longer than that.
And then
'Cause
Yeah,
you have,
so-
you have the place from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I can't imagine you guys getting back after getting some sleep in too, and
Yes,
wanting to
that's
come
it.
in. What'd you say?
Ralph found it.
Oh,
He showed me, and I was like, yep.
oh my God, that's funny. Well, I don't know. Anyways, I got too much shit going on here. I got pictures everywhere. I'll have to find it. That's alright. We're getting towards, almost, not quite almost towards the end, but we're getting close to the end of the show. But,
Already?
well, we got about 20 minutes or so.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes
I
by
just
fast.
sent it to you.
Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay.
Oh, God. No, I'm just kidding.
He says the ghosts want to see it.
Gotta figure out where it's at now. Oh.
It's in Messenger.
No, I know that. I'm trying to
Oh.
figure out. Oh, I'm seeing some weird things on my screen. I didn't know what that was for, but now I know what it was. I'll have to get it pulled up here. There's too much. Oh, it's over here.
Yeah, so I hope we can get back into some homes, you know, and
Yeah.
some more businesses and
That would be
things
amazing.
like that and help them out.
What the hell? Sorry, I'm trying to do 10 things at once.
Even the homes are fun just to go do and see what we could find.
Yeah, because we even did one not too long ago. That was that guy with the CSI. Remember him?
Which we need to.
And then also I've followed up. I've talked to their son.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'll get back with you.
They did.
I
And
was
then
wondering, because.
nothing. But if you remember right, when you and Jason were back in that bedroom.
Whoa! That was private information.
Oh, sorry.
Just kidding.
I apologize,
And
everybody.
It wasn't me going there first.
Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
You know, and remember when that 360 went off in the pantry?
Right.
The mom, like, literally lost it. Like, she's like, I'm done, we're good. What? I mean, she did not like that at all.
Oh, really? Probably.
I don't know that she thought we were actually going to find something. Because her husband and I were sitting right at the entry to walk into the pantry. She was right next to me, and it started going off, and she went, And then all of a sudden it was, I need to let my dogs out. I need to do this. Are we almost done?
Yeah, we ended up shortly after that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because, like, the pantry, and that's where she has to go get her items or whatever, and,
Basically.
Well, and that's where they were having some issues, and I'm the one that talked to her the first time, and she's all about the pantry. Got to find out the pantry's having issues.
and then maybe she
And then all of a
got
sudden we
scared.
show her, and it was almost like she was getting nervous.
Yeah. Well, because you could see it firsthand that something was happening. Here's the infamous picture of Dan we were talking about out from the Riviera.
Dirty Dan.
Mm.
You seriously hadn't seen that?
No, I haven't. And I respect you, Dan. I love you, man.
That's right.
If we're ever in Vegas, I'm going with you, and we're both going to take a picture.
I wouldn't expect any less from y'all.
But I want Dan facing the wall.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's so many places like out in LA I would love to go and investigate. Because I mean, LA's been a lot of, as I always call it, Hollyweird. It's just so much going on out there, and sorry, I'm distracted by things now. Yeah, there's all over the place. I mean, like, because even with the Manson stuff itself, I would like to go out and some of the places where where they stayed out and camped out, you can go out and investigate there too. But there's no more remnants of that. I mean, those places don't exist as far as the structure and stuff, but they still. I mean, you can still go out there and find like some of the stuff that Manson and them had out there when they were there. Like you can hike up the hill, up the mountain, and there is a what do you call it? Sorry, there is a nothing's safe. Remember that.
I'm good. Oh, man.
Sorry.
Really?
That's why.
Is that you?
How did you get that?
That's why I'm distracted, because
I've never seen that one.
I
Nothing's
cannot
freaking
believe
sacred.
this just happened. Could not believe this just happened.
I'm sorry, I had to, buddy.
Did you have shoulder pads?
No.
Speaking of sexy motherfuckers, look at that.
How did he
That
do
was
that?
a young. I got ways, man. I've been holding that one for a while.
Man.
Oh God, now I'm scared. What do you have on me?
I'll behave. I just had to do it.
He says, I'll behave.
Just wait.
So I got a question for you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, without getting too deep into that subject, because we're getting close to time,
Yep.
where you were at and picking up that certain voice,
Wait, we talking about first? Where was that?
the
Where?
Charles Manson
Okay. Yes.
thing.
Okay. Yeah. What about it?
Charles Manson's gone, right? He's dead.
Yeah.
Why would he be there?
Well, because he visited that area before. I mean, he's tied to that. He claims he didn't have anything to do with it, but
Right, but out of all the places
But
you've
his
got to go,
Followers.
I mean, committed one of the most famous murders
Yeah.
in Hollywood history next to the
Well,
Black
just-
Dahlia.
Like he came through with us locally.
Yeah. Once I came back from there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
January,
that's right.
I got down at the salon.
Just like the traveler at that one location.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they travel different places.
Maybe they hear you talking about it. Maybe, I don't know. It's just,
Well, that case, I called him out that night. That's why I think
Okay.
I was like, because I probably went against David's beliefs, but I mean, he says that none of those guys are there. He says it's just Sharon Tate and then some of the victims. I was like, but this is too. I mean, it's too close to the situation. Why wouldn't any of the murderers be there? So I called out, Susan Atkins, and I got a female voice. I actually saw a shout out, and if you watched the video that night from the podcast or the episode I did out there, I see a female shadow pass right in front of me, and then on my recorder I capture a female voice that sounds like an awful lot like Susan Atkins, one of the murderers' voice. It's real soft spoken, and she told me, she goes, I had to do that. Like, I mean, the way I took it as a murder. I had to do that. I mean, I had to do this murder kind of a thing. That's how I read it. But David always, I asked him off camera. He wasn't with me the whole time until later on. I said, "Did you ever get any?" I asked him, "Does Charles Manson ever get here?" He's like, no. He still tells me Manson's never there. But his viewers, our viewers, whatever, were watching that night, and that voice came through clear as day. That sounded a hell of a lot like Charles Manson.
yeah.
Because
I mean, why wouldn't it have been? I'll play that voice. We can listen to that right now. Because
I swore in my life there was no denying, because I've heard so many things on the news and documentaries of Manson talking, and when that came through
oh yeah,
the spirit box that night, there was no denying that was him. That was
that's
Charles.
kind of what I felt too. I mean, I've always felt that's who it was, and I mean, David said he was listening that night, and he was watching when I was down there. He was up on the middle. There's three or four levels of his house. And then I was in the very basement. He was above me, and he was watching live as it happened. And he said, I mean, what could he say? I mean, because everybody was saying, even his viewers, because this guy that follows him out there was watching the podcast or the episode I was doing. He's like, he's the one that said too. I heard that. That's something like, and he's like, that's Charles Manson. And he thought it was too, and so I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if it is, that's awesome. If it's not, whatever.
To me, it was him. Did you hear something over here? Because I just got touched.
Yeah, I
Something
just heard
just
that.
touched
Did
my
you see
leg.
me? Yep.
I don't know what's going on behind that table over there, but you guys need to keep it PG for the viewers.
Something like she wrote.
Dirty Diana.
Let me get that queued up
Yeah.
here. Sorry, guys. I wasn't. Once a lot of the stuff we
Trying
wasn't
to set this
expecting.
up.
We just kind of stumbled across this stuff. I know I have it
Well,
here.
you weren't with us that night at the location, were you? I
Yeah.
don't remember you being
That was
there.
our podcast.
It was
Oh, you weren't
just-
there?
No, it
You
was
probably had to do pizza
Probably.
that night. Yeah.
You, Jason, Jake, Dan, and I. I think
Yes.
there was only 5 of us.
Yep.
I don't think so.
I'll have to find that bastard. Where's it at? I know I have it because
Yeah, because when that voice came through, my jaw hit the floor, and I'm like, there's no way, but there was no denying. Sorry.
easy.
It was that gravelly tone that you hear.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he said the one thing he wanted to do to you.
Oh yeah. We talked about that. He's gonna kill me. I'm like, whatever.
Yep.
I'm trying to find out where the hell is it? Give me a second.
Can you do that search thing up there?
Well, yeah, I can, but I don't know what I'm looking for because I thought I had
gotcha.
it separated out for a reason, and that's not that one. I'll keep looking here. We got time. We got about 15 minutes left before the show
So,
ends.
Rose, while Leah's doing that, what's your favorite location? If you could say.
Oh, of course. Tahlequah.
Okay.
Which Andy's never got the chance to experience.
Mm-mm.
It neither has
No,
Dan
I've
or Jake.
driven kind of
or
by
It would
there.
be Tahlequah. It would be the Hillside Church.
Yes, I miss that place.
Gosh. I was real fortunate to be able to get in there.
Yes,
That's the first
that
time I met
was
Roth.
My
Yeah.
first place I got to investigate. Like, when I went on one of the first tours I went on with Jason, and then going back.
With Ben and Claire and them.
Like a month later with Ben and Claire, that's where I first met Leo. And Larry was there that night.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just an amazing experience in itself.
That's the night Jason sent me clear down in the basement to use the restroom.
Yep.
And then I meet this mysterious guy running around that I borrowed a flashlight from because I had to go down to the basement because there's no lights. And he goes, "What'd you need this for?" I needed to go to the restroom. And he goes, "Oh, there's one right there." But
Upstairs.
Jason sent me all the way down where there's no power.
I
There's
think
no,
he was
yeah.
just messing with you.
Oh,
Huh?
100%
Oh, yeah,
he
he
was.
was, 100%.
That's funny. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay. I'll get it all queued up here. Let me grab which one it is. Hang on one second. So this is from actually out in Beverly Hills, California. This is the David Oman house I went to. I was gonna, if I had time, I would have got the video from it, from the Facebook feed. But this is the audio from that night. I have my recorder in my hand like I always do. Let me see. Gotta find the one I'm talking about. Okay. I think this is the one I want to play. So, throw some headphones on here.
And back to you, Bob.
Right? Did it not pick it up? Hang on, dang it. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so this is what I'm doing is I'm in the basement of one of the famous rooms of his house. It's a bedroom where, if you ever watched the Ghost Adventures episode, Nick Groff gets trapped down there by himself and is freaking out because he's too scared to leave. It's the same area that I was in at the time. 1 second here, and away we go. Come on, you like to talk big. Hang on. Okay, now it's going to be stupid.
What do you say, Roth's what?
Hang on. That's weird. Here we go again with the frickin' bullshit. I tried playing the old video we just played. This is going to be interesting. Hang on. God dang it. Hang on. Bear with me. It does this from time to time where it doesn't
Should we act like we're singers and we're doing a video and Leo's
doesn't
We're
like
on The
me playing
Voice.
shit.
just running the sound?
We turn our chairs.
Okay, we're going to try it again here.
I don't think anybody would want to hear me sing.
See, what the fuck? I don't know why it does this. Here, let me try something different here. For some reason, I don't know. Doesn't like me playing stuff. Okay, we'll try it again. Come on, you like to talk big. For a little person.
And we're transporting.
Can you say your name? Okay, here we go.
White noise and then boom.
Come on, you like to talk big. For a little person. Can you say your name to this device right here? Loud and clear? Okay, viewers at home, are you hearing that voice? That sounds like Charles Manson. I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it sounds like him. He had that southern kind of twangy drawl. So, real quick, as you heard, it's like you said, I did 12 to me, and that always kind of puzzled me a little bit, so I was trying to figure out his body count. The body counts he may or may not have been involved with, but even his followers did. I think I've come up with 10 or 11. I can't get the 12th person, which could be somebody they never
No one it was
said. Yeah. But that kind of, to me, that's always sounded like his voice. I mean, his.
Yeah.
I'm standing, like I said, literally, how many feet from, 150 feet from where
Where it
his
happened.
followers committed the murders. There was always speculation because of how messy it got. He went back that night and wanted to clean up a little bit. So supposedly he went back to the scene and did some things, staged some things possibly. That was always the rumor. So that's weird. It's going off again. Yeah, right on the EDI machine. I can see it. Like I said, David Oman, I'm saying, thinks he's not there. That Charles, man, he goes, dead man tells no lies, but he always tells me. But I'm calling the guy out, you know, not David Owen, but Charles Manson, you know, and you can hear me saying you talk big for a little guy, 'cause he's a short little guy, like 5'2" or something like that, and
Yeah.
I'm challenging him, you know, and I shouldn't do that, but sometimes you do what you got to do to get evidence, and
I have no doubt it's him, especially after hearing what we heard that one night
Yeah.
doing the live stuff.
right.
Well, how many more chances are you gonna have to be there?
That's just it. Well, if I get back out there, that was my thought process.
The
That
thing is getting there.
that was my thought process that night. It's like this may be the only chance I get, even though he said I can come back anytime. But it's just
He told me that, like, our team has.
yeah. But actuality, going out to L.A., you know,
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, so I'm like,
That's true.
I'm putting all my cards down on the table, and we're going, you know, full in, whatever. So that's why I was doing investigating the way
Yeah.
I was, and plus I had to hurry up not hurry up. I mean, I left there about 3 o'clock their time, and I had to be up the next morning to go to work there in L.A. We had to be out at that place by 8, so I had to drive back to my Airbnb and, you know, function the next day.
Yeah.
So, which the thing that was always weird, if you're familiar with the case, I mean, I don't think they once again, when the police came in and everybody looked at the scene, there was ropes around Sharon Tate's throat, and also it was strung across, there was a beam across the house, in the middle of the room, living room, and the rope went around it, and it was attached also to Jay Sebring, who supposedly they killed right away. They didn't hang them. There was nooses around their necks, basically. It didn't dawn upon me because later on that night, I investigated on a Wednesday night. The next day, I was supposed to go out and do things. I was like, I'm too tired. I don't feel the greatest, you know, after being up, you know, for so long and investigating. And so I let the guys go out, and I stayed at the house by myself, and just I went to sleep for a little bit. Finally woke up, and I had the worst pain in my neck, and it lasted me for days. I came back, and I was like, man, I think I'm getting sick, whatever, because I couldn't swallow. I couldn't do anything. I'm like, what the hell's going on, you know? And I never got sick, but it's just like, why is my throat like so sore? And then I kept thinking about it. I'm like, is it possible I experienced, because even during that actual episode, you'll see me talk about it, and I remember Dan saying, I saw a shadow behind you. I thought I was dying in that place because I felt like I was going to go down on my knees, where I think I even said, oh man, I feel like I've been stabbed in the back, whatever, because I was just standing there and I went down,
Yes, I
and it
remember
hurt because I felt like the life was draining out of me, honestly. And that's hard to explain, but I thought I was going to pass out in that. I was like, well, shit, hopefully David is watching this. He can come down and, you know, rescue me, because he's going to find me dead in his basement, basically. And it was weird, is in that same area. Well, like I said, I go back to Kansas, you know, and my throat's sore for about a week. So I'm wondering if somehow it's possible, and this is just my own theory, I'm not saying it is fact, but maybe I took on their persona a little bit. I experienced what they experienced, you know, the stabbing of
Could be.
them, and also the noose, because my throat was literally sore for. In hindsight, I wish I could have done it differently. I wish I could have went to a doctor after when I got back to Kansas and said, you know, my throat's, you know, sore, and they could have maybe did something, whatever, looked at it and said, well, you know, what's these bruises or some shit, you know, I'm just saying, who
Right.
knows. But it was always baffled me, and I can never explain it, but it was coincidental.
Well, doesn't that go back to some of the people, when you watch some of the other shows, the mediums, the different people that walk into a room,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they got to get out of there, they're not feeling good, they're sick, they're hurting,
Yeah.
you know, it's a good possibility that that's
I mean,
what was happening.
like I said, I've always been fascinated by that case. Even before I even met David, or even as a younger person, you know, a kid, whatever, I was always fascinated by that case because it was famous. I mean, I wasn't around when it happened, obviously, but years later, I read Helter Skelter, the book, you know, and watched the movies and shit, and just.
Was it one of you and Renee's teachers that had gotten a letter from him?
There's a guy from our hometown where you could always, you know, take the chance you can write anybody in prison, you know, and I always thought about it. I never would, because I don't want to have my name, address attached to something where if you get the chance to even get to him, Charles
Yeah.
Manson, you know, he says, oh, you know, there's a guy out in the middle of nowhere, go talk to him, whatever, you know, one of his followers, I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
What are
you
the
don't want
odds?
them
Probably
even-
very, very slim.
So
but-
they're going to be in prison the rest of their life.
Yeah.
You don't want them
I don't
to
want
have your
connections.
address.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not going to write to him. But there's a guy, one of our teachers, that did write to him, and he would proudly show you the letter, you know, when he was teaching, whatever. And he pen palled Charles Manson and ended up becoming acquaintances with him over the years, and has all the letters from him. Now that'd be cool because it's part of history a dark part of history that it's rare, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'll play that evidence one more time, and then we're getting close to the end of the show, and we'll get wrapped up here. But once again, this is who I thought was Charles Manson talking to me at the time, as I'm calling him out, because even like the whole time I'm standing there, I'm thinking,
Any way you can slow it down just a tad?
I'll pinpoint, I'll back it up, because it's going to play as is. So here, I'll play it again real quick here. So that's me. Come on, you like to talk big. For a little person. Can you say your name to this device right here? Loud and clear?
Can you pause it for a second? Was that a voice?
Yeah. It was. Talking about right here, I'll play it back.
Yeah, what's it saying?
It's too low. I
Okay.
can't hear, but I
All
heard
right.
it too. It's in the recording. Your name to this device right here? Right there.
Yeah.
Loud and clear?
It's a Twinkie? A twinkle.
I think he said I did 12.
It's a twinkle.
But it definitely sounds
So yeah, I mean,
It's a twinkle.
I've always was curious
Wow.
about what was going on. There's other like some recordings I have in there and the video and stuff too. I mean, I was
God,
live
that's
the whole time.
him.
Yes, there's
That's
no
that
denying.
cocky, arrogant.
A little bit of
Yeah.
Yeah,
twang.
yeah. I mean, I hope it is, but because at this time he was dead already. He died in I think 2016.
Yeah.
And this was
Did you ever watch that
2019.
show I told you about? That
Which
showed
one?
his funeral and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I watched it. Yep. Yeah,
Carl
'cause
said-
that's the one that Zach Bagans produced. I thought he was going to be in it, and he never was.
I didn't
Well,
know
there's
that
two
Zach
of them
had
out. There's
something to do with
one.
that.
There's one that Rob Zombie did, and there's one that Zach Bagans was a producer on.
Okay, I didn't
So-
know that much.
Yeah.
Carl said that when you said Helter Skelter,
Mm-hmm. It went off. I saw it. I heard and saw it. Yeah, it's been going off every time we mention certain things. I don't know. I mean,
if
sometimes.
Dan was here, he'd be playing that.
Yeah. We'll have to get better prepared for our next episode, because we'll go back and then maybe we can revisit some of this stuff.
Yeah,
like I
this is the
said,
first time
because
the dolls have really, stuff's happened
right there.
more this time.
Yeah, and
Something over here, actually.
yeah, we've had that thing going on for the last 3 or 4 episodes, or I think 3 episodes, and it's never did
Yeah.
any of this. And now we're talking about. Well, I think last time it did some things.
Yeah, it
During
seems
the-
like this time there's been more happening.
It's been more interactive with us, yeah,
Yeah.
with some of our things we talked about, people and things, and yeah, I mean, it's quite possible. Once again, I think, like I said, energy attracts to objects, so who knows? And I had the K2 with me out there in LA during the podcast, or during the Charles Manson. I also had my SB7 that's just sitting right in front of me, like all my equipment right here. It's right in front of me, out with me too, out in LA. So, I mean, and the rest of it sitting right next to me at my feet. So, once again, if I brought any of that back with me, hopefully that's cool. And, or, he can travel. I mean, if they can talk to us, from the afterlife, who says they can't go between LA to middle of Wichita, or
It
whatever.
happened. I mean, we've experienced that on one of our private investigations.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit told us that.
Yeah. Yep. So, who knows? But that's why we do
What we do.
investigate, and like I said, and that's why we do the podcast. We can hopefully get it out there to the masses, that A, you never know what you're going to encounter when you go to a place, and or B, what you may bring back, because it's obviously happened to us multiple times, and I'm not afraid that I have the opportunities. This is why I do it, because I love I'm a big history buff, and I love doing this for talking to somebody from the past, potentially, whether it be good or bad.
Yeah.
So, very cool, guys, man. No, it was fun. I didn't know what we were going to talk about tonight. We ran through the show real quick. Holy crap, it's past 9 o'clock already. 9:01 to be
Is it
exact.
really?
That clock's fast. Or
It
slow.
went really
So-
super freaky fast.
But, as far as I plan on next week, like I said to the viewers and everybody, I don't think we'll do a show because the group will be coming back from quite a bit of distance. Everybody's suffering. Andy has been traveling too.
Yeah.
I'm the only person that doesn't going to be traveling, that won't be traveling. But if I get squirrely enough, I may do a show. But if not, we'll wait for 2 more weeks and we'll come back.
If you end up doing something, let me know. I'll
yeah.
be back late Saturday
Okay.
sometime.
Sounds good.
Oh, you're
So-
coming back Saturday?
Yeah, it's for a Special Olympics basketball tournament.
Yep.
He's in back that day, but
So are you
And
gonna be able to investigate then?
no. By the time we get back late Saturday,
You guys will be down there already.
Oh,
Time
Yeah.
to get
yeah, I
out
didn't know
there.
if you were gonna have time to
No.
come out.
Yeah.
Plus, it was limited, and I think there's enough people going already that I think the spots have been taken up. So, hopefully, like I said,
And the
Jason
coach.
will be able to go live down there at the location. So stay tuned. They may be a last-minute thing. They may jump on that night next Saturday, the 19th, and maybe they can show you where the
Yeah.
location is if the owners let them do it, or if the Wi-Fi lets them do it.
Yeah, if they're able to do it, I would say stay tuned to probably Road Trip Paranormal page. That
Mhm.
would be where I'm sure they're going to go live.
Okay, they may do it from Cryptic also
I
too.
think
So.
Yeah.
he's
either.
gonna try to go cryptic.
Okay,
Is it-
Cryptic,
yeah,
or
Cryptic
Road
Pod.
Trip.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to this channel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, make sure you turn notifications on. That way, when we go live, you go live, because one of our channels will pick it up, and more than likely, I think he was saying this one last I knew too, but who knows? So,
Yeah, they do. Jason's good about going to Cryptic
Mhm.
most time, yeah.
yep. So, all right, guys. Well, this has been a fun episode. It went
Yeah,
quick,
it's been-
quicker than some of our other episodes. But yeah, it's fun when we have interaction like that. You never know what you may see on the podcast, whether it be something we've done or talked about evidence-wise, or something in studio. Last time it was the voice. This time it's the interaction with our our equipment. So, and that's why I have that camera going constantly, because I've been trying to see if the dolls themselves are haunted. And when Dan was here the first time, we had an interaction with them, but since then it's been pretty quiet. It's mostly, I think, of our subject matter.
So how do you have an interaction with a doll?
Wouldn't you like to know? No, I'm kidding. How do we have interaction with it? When the first time we brought him out, we were asking questions directly to it. I had him sitting
Okay.
in between, like where you guys were sitting, or whatever. It was between Jason and Dan, and we were asking specific questions to it, and it seemed to be responding to some of
Really?
the stuff we were saying.
Have
Potentially.
you gone over the recordings for that?
Just from the show.
Just a little?
No, yeah. I mean, but as far as tonight, I mean, I've sat here even when I'm down here working or something by myself and turn things on, and haven't had that much, not like tonight. So I think some of it's, like I said,
I think it's
subject
because
matter.
y'all are together in the same room.
Could be. Can you give us 3 little beeps before we leave?
You would shit yourself if it did.
Hope not. Come on, give us 3 beeps before we leave.
And I don't know
Please.
if it's the subject matter we were talking about, like some of the stuff, our past cases and stuff. So yeah. That's
right.
okay. We'll be back in a couple weeks, and you'll see. Hopefully, we'll test that theory again, see if it works with some of the subject matter we're talking about and/or our cases. So, all right, y'all. Well, for Andy and Rose and the
Thank
rest
y'all
of
for
the
Thank
tuning
you.
in.
Cryptic Heartland crew, I'm Leo, and this has been episode number 148 of the Cryptic Heartland podcast. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. See you guys.
Night all.
Good night.
Okay, you guys are good at talking. That was fun.
Yeah, that's been interesting.
We talked about certain
Like,
things.
10 times it's gone off tonight. Yeah.
Like he's on the corner.
Good show. Like lots of. It's recorded and
Yeah,
Are you here?
What
did I say?
Oh.
And you called it out, and then you said, it's male. Oh, yeah, I heard that
I just was making sure it wasn't Leo or somebody upstairs. Yeah, I heard that.
too. I walked by there
Yeah.
when he was talking, I heard it. But it wasn't that, 'cause
I think so.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy.
It was like somebody answered us. Mm-hmm.
What's that?
That was fun. Tonight.
I didn't know what to talk about on the show. What were we discussing? I'm trying to keep
That's the doctor's office. Yes. Carl says the mics are still on.